Welcome to Every Film in the Book. We're going to try to sneak on to the spaceship of knowledge.
The spaceship of knowledge. This isn't the magic school bus.
Miss Frizzle could get it.
Probably the reason I'm in love with redheads.
Oh, damn.
Well,
Miss Frizzle.
seemed to have the opposite effect on me.
I'll hop on that magic school bus. I'm ready for a wild ride.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Did you get clearance for takeoff?
No, I didn't fill out my
Fill
paperwork.
out the request form.
Welcome.
Welcome.
To Every Film in the Book.
That's our podcast.
We are a podcast. That is correct.
Yeah. And Michael is looking very comfy over there.
Well, my car's in the shop. I had to hitchhike here.
Yeah,
Oh.
where's your fancy ring? I want the laser ring.
I'm not bringing that around you.
God damn it.
Not after the last incident.
I'm sorry I pointed it straight at your eye, but I thought it would be funny. But no, you are dressed very appropriate.
Yes. One has a house coat and a towel. One can then hitchhike across the galaxies.
So what does the towel do?
Listen, if you don't know what the towel's for,
Uh-huh.
you do not deserve the towel.
I guess that's fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, this week we are covering the 2005 masterclass hit, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Woo!
Was it a hit?
No, this I don't remember this doing very well
Mm.
in the movies.
This seems to be like The Thing and some of the other movies that nobody watched them when they came out, and then 5-6 years later, everybody's seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of those, not a slow burn, but I don't
It like gained a fan base after the fact.
way after it's
Yeah.
released.
Yeah. It was definitely a home video kind of movie.
Mm.
Yeah.
I still remember seeing this in theaters, and I had no idea what it was. I didn't know it was like based off like a book or anything like that. So like I went into this blind, and when the movie freaking opens on like dolphins singing to me, I'm like, what the hell did I just
Right.
get brought to?
Right? Because you knew it was going to be silly. You knew it was going to be a space movie.
Right.
But then the opening sequence is like they have narration and
Yeah.
these wonderful pictures of the Earth and everything going on, and then all the dolphins leave.
Oh,
Mhm.
so you know how I've nitpicked like narration and shit in the past, and like if
Mhm.
your movie starts with narration, I'm gonna hate it.
Mhm.
This is one of those like outliers where I'm like, I love the narrator in this movie. Like he's pretty much one of the best points of comedy, I think. It's just
yeah,
him
I mean,
explaining.
and it's that kind of movie where you expect there to be the goofy narration,
Right.
and it's because it's not serious. It doesn't bother you as
Right,
being
right.
like a
It
oh
doesn't-
god, okay, we have to
Yeah.
set things up through narration.
and it
Right.
doesn't feel out of place. And my favorite thing is they kept it up through
Right.
the whole film.
Yeah.
Like even explaining stupid little stuff like why do the doors sound like that? Well, that's just how there was narration for
Yeah.
a good bit of silly stuff.
Yeah, and just having that like outside voice kind of explain some of these like creatures and like some of the like circumstances to us like is definitely helpful in your crazy sci-fi movie.
Well,
Yeah.
without a narrator, you would have no idea what's going on
Right.
in a film like that. And they knew that, and they were also like, okay, we can
Yeah.
explain everything as we go and make it funny, or else no one will understand what's going
It's
on
like by
at
the
all
second
in the film.
drop of Zaphod Beeblebrox, I would have been like,
Like,
all right, come on,
okay,
what
all
the
right, guys.
what is this British ass shit? Zaphod Beeblebrox.
Yes, it's very British dry humor, and I have said this before with those kinds of movies where it doesn't really give me the giggles. Like it doesn't really make me laugh usually. Like I like when jokes have like some thought behind it and it's not just dumb humor.
Right.
And they definitely put their thought into, you know, everything they were doing.
Yeah.
So I appreciated it, but it didn't really make me laugh all that much.
I just love in like that opening scene when they're like Mos Def grabs Martin Freeman.
Most.
I forgot their what are their names in the movie? I forget.
I don't know.
I don't even know.
It doesn't matter.
But like he takes him from his house that's about to be demolished, and he brings him to the bar, and he's like slamming drinks.
We've got 10 minutes to drink this much
But
beer.
I love the bartender. He's like, "You really think the world's gonna end, huh?" And he's like, "Yep, most likely." And he's like, "Should we do anything?" He's like, "Well, what are you gonna do?" And he's like, "We could put like a bag over our head." And he's like, "Yeah, go ahead and do it."
Yeah, that'll be fine.
It's
That'll
like
be fine.
whatever you got. Like I love like those stupid like character interactions where it's like I know nobody in their right mind while the world is ending is gonna be like, should I like lie down and put a bag over my head?
Yeah,
Like-
that's what I would do.
But like it kind of adds like that levity that like you need to like blow up the entire world in
Right.
about 2 minutes.
I also thought it was funny that the circumstance that he was in and the circumstance he was worried about, like he was so worried about them demolishing his house. Like we've had these files posted in downtown for years.
Yeah.
He's like, well, you can't wreck my house. You can't demolish it. And then he learns the world's going to explode. And he's like, but they're going to demolish my house. And he's like, no, the whole planet, including your house.
Yeah, and he's like,
No,
"Oh,
my
but
house."
I met this girl at a bar like 3 weeks ago. She was perfect."
I wonder if she's going to show up later.
Definitely showing up later.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But like I love when the fleet shows up and they give like the same excuse that the construction crew gives to Arthur, and he's like, well, I don't see why you're all complaining. Like, these plans have been down at your local galactic planning office
Right.
for
For
centuries.
centuries.
Yeah.
Like, how would you get to a galactic planning office?
Well,
That's
one
what I
might
wanna
don a bathrobe and a towel and hitchhike. Yeah? What do you think about that, Steve?
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, I guess the bathrobe for comfort, but I don't.
Let's just talk about the amount of good luck that dude has.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
It's all luck. This whole movie is luck.
I mean, I feel like if the world was going to blow up, he lucked out having an alien friend who knew how to get off the planet.
So,
Pretty
okay.
lucky.
Yeah.
A big question I have about this whole thing, and I'm going to bring this up probably later too, is like the world building, because that literally happens later, but like the world building of the whole thing. How much do the humans know about intergalactic travel? I guess there are aliens living amongst them, but do they know? Is it like a secretive thing? Like, they don't really explain the level of like Earth knowledge compared to like this whole
Right.
other
Well,
universe happening.
Now, I could be wrong. I think why they don't explain it is because everybody on Earth dies in the first
Yeah.
like 5 minutes, so it doesn't matter if they know.
Right, but it also kind of plays into our main character
Yeah.
and his understanding of everything. Like, clearly he doesn't know anything about it, but also he doesn't seem surprised by the fact that there's like a whole different like
Yeah,
there are
like,
He took it
planets
very
with,
well.
Yeah.
He wasn't phased at all. So
Yeah.
I'm like there
when the
must be
guy's
some
like- It's
understanding.
like, yeah, I'm not actually from Greenwich. I'm from a small system outside of like.
It's near Beetlejuice
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, okay.
It's like, oh,
He's
cool.
like, that's cool. You just bought me a beer, so you can say whatever you want,
Yeah.
and I'll believe it.
Oh my god, him showing up with that shopping cart full of beer. I described that guy to Danielle as you. I'm like, yeah, he would always just show up with like a shopping cart full of beer.
Shopping cart full of beer. You're working? No, this is beer drinking
No,
time.
it's beer day. Like, I gotta
Beer
go to
day.
work. Well, you're calling out because you're gonna be drunk.
It's beer day.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like there's going to be a lot of moments where
Oh, yeah.
we're like, this doesn't add up,
Right.
but
So-
comedy.
A ton of this film doesn't add up.
You know what?
and like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
Like, all of the planets and places all have breathable human atmosphere.
Yeah, no one questioned it.
Yeah. I mean, that is true. Maybe they have universal breathers.
No, they only had the
Yeah,
babble,
The listening.
the
babble slug.
babble slug.
That was very like Star Warsy, like the little creature that's in a jar that like does something that you're like, why is it a small slug? Like, what does that do?
Well,
Well, it can fit in your ear.
yeah, and it eats your sound and then shits out language.
It feeds on your brain
It's
waves.
like, why didn't they use a technology? It's like, no, they're using like a
Well, it's
creature.
reusable. It's good for the environment, low production
I think-
cost.
I think they did that on purpose, where they're like, this would normally be an electronic device. Instead, we made it a slug. And you're still going to understand everything
Right.
everybody says in the film.
Because, like, I know in, like, you know, like Star Trek, they have, like, that earpiece
Yeah.
and it auto-translates for you. So I guess, like, they were like, what if we went like that, but the organic route?
Right?
Yeah. I will say, like, I did get some Star Trek-y elements, like, especially with
Yeah.
the kitchen and, like, the thing that reads, like,
Dude.
your, what you're
I-
craving most and makes food for you.
Yeah.
Like, that's more Star Trek-y,
I would
think.
literally break into Area 51 if I knew they had that technology so I could take that home with me and then just put my face and, like, all my meals are taken care of.
No, but it was what you crave most. So I would show up naked on that tray every time.
You just be like,
It's what
"Damn
you
it,
want to eat
Steve."
the most, and it's just
Steve.
Michael naked.
It's
like-
just me. It's just me every time. I wanted waffles. No, you didn't,
like-
apparently.
It's like, Steve, it is 2:30 in the morning. I have to be up for work in 2 hours. What the hell? Like, sorry, I was craving
I
cheeseburgers.
was craving cheeseburgers.
I forgot it always summons you.
That is one thing about this film, that they don't explain like stuff and how it works,
Right.
but they will explain, like, this toasts your bread as you slice it,
Mhm.
and
It's
this
like,
gives
okay.
you whatever you want, and
Yeah.
these translate whatever. It's a slug.
Yeah.
Like, okay, all that little stuff could have been completely skipped.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have just shown those and we would understand,
Yeah.
whereas there are other things that needed explaining
And they didn't.
that they
Yeah.
didn't explain.
They're like, what should we do? Let's do the opposite.
Like, especially the first time you see the improbability drive stuff.
Oh, I
like,
like that.
That is like, they show it first before they explain it.
Right.
And I literally turned to you, I was like, what is happening? Because, like, they didn't explain it right away. They, like, did that, continued on with the scene, and then they cut to the narration of explaining
Mhm.
what it is. And I was like, oh, okay. Why didn't we get the narration immediately after that happened?
One thing with that's cool is the things the ship turns into.
Yeah.
The first time you see it is like double cherries and like a banana or whatever, stuff
Mhm.
on a slot machine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Whatever. It's
Oh my
like
God.
that was kind of funny.
Like-
Then they end up turning into like, and it would like completely alter their DNA, and
Yeah.
they'd slowly pop. We're yarn people now. We're all
Well,
fabric.
it's like when they first get picked up by that ship, and they're like, it's like, I think I feel like a sofa.
Yeah, that the sofa one was weird.
just
And
like,
then they
what?
just, like, blip back to being people. Because obviously they're not going to show, like, morphing into it. That's too much.
I
visual
would have
effects.
loved if, like, the rest of the movie they were just sofas until they figured out how to become not sofas.
Slightly different direction the film would have gone in.
Yeah, see, this is why you shouldn't let me direct movies. I'd be
Yeah.
like, wait, that sofa
Wait.
thing's really cool.
This movie has 87 plots. Well, we let Steve direct it. Oh, okay.
So, the movie is clearly called Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yes.
So, the one thing is they really only hitchhike between, like, two ships, right? Like,
yeah, he
they're-
only hitchhikes twice.
They're on the
He gets picked up by the bureaucrat
Yeah.
nation.
and then they
then-
fall out of that ship.
And, like,
They-
he doesn't even hitchhike to get into the...
No,
like-
they get picked up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
they get picked up.
because of the improbability drive, it just kind
Yeah.
of, like, sucks him in.
Yeah.
But but that part, like, as they're getting launched into space, and it's like that big fake out because they're standing in front of that huge door, and you think like the door is gonna open in and they're gonna get sucked out, but they just like drop through like a little trap
Right.
door.
Yeah,
Like, I
that's
love the stupid like
subverting your.
yeah
This is what normally happens in space movies. They're gonna go a different direction.
right
They did that a few times with some
Mhm.
things. Also, we know everything's possible, and we're still surprised that the president has like a second head and a third
yeah.
arm, and
I
like
didn't get the
those-
second head.
Yeah.
Like is he
Oh.
like required to like
So-
split his personality or something?
Well, he wasn't required to, but in order to be the president, there's parts of his personality that weren't good for being the
Oh,
president.
right.
So he just had them cut out and put into a different head.
Oh, so he could
Yeah.
still have those
so he could still have
personalities
them, but not his figurehead,
I
Which
see.
which is
that
the president.
that's all like fine, whatever. What I don't understand about his whole like presidency thing is like, why is he just alone on a ship with his girlfriend?
Oh, he
like-
kidnaps himself.
Yeah, but,
he
like,
stole
he-
himself.
Yeah.
He doesn't have like staff or anything.
Well, yeah. It would be hard to kidnap yourself with staff.
Yeah, just Marvin.
Yeah, just Marvin the robot and
So
his
wait,
lady friend.
He is the current acting president, but he bailed,
Yeah.
and he's still seen as like the president.
Well, yeah. That would be like
Yeah.
it's like Biden like just leaves tomorrow.
I was like, well,
and he's just like,
technically,
well,
he's still the
I don't want to do this no more. It's like, well, you're technically still the president. I guess we could replace you.
Well, I just mean like you'd think in the galaxy that they're in, if the president's like, nah, I'm out of here, they'd just be like, fine, we'll get a new one. There's so many billions of life forms in the whole galaxy.
You know, you're bringing up some good points.
for
Sorry.
if it was a regular
Sorry.
movie, those would be good points for a regular movie.
I'm
but
thinking too much
Yeah.
about it all. I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, I think
think
it's
it-
just a stupid plot line where
Yeah.
he just decides to kidnap himself because he's a
Well,
party
and
president.
it's also that's how that's their motivation is they're being chased.
Yeah,
Hmm.
So
almost like in Star Wars.
no, not at all. Not at all. No one chases anybody in Star Wars. What are you talking
There are
about?
no chases.
There's no
Yeah,
chases.
certainly not in a pod.
Especially not through light
Those are
speed.
racist, not chases.
Oh, damn.
Come on, Steve.
Fuck.
And when they like jump into light speed and stuff, like
You know,
like how they do in
if
Star
some
Wars.
Star Wars ships would have turned into like bowls of yarn and fruit,
It would have been cool.
I would have liked Star Wars a little bit more. I think.
It's a little bit like Spaceballsy.
Yes,
Hmm.
it is very Spaceballsy.
but
Oh, I love Spaceballs. Can we watch Spaceballs? Sorry. Sorry, we're talking about a movie.
the whole convoluted plot is pretty simple.
Right.
Yeah.
They do a whole bunch of stuff. A little bit of it makes sense,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and they accomplish something by the end of it.
Right.
I do have one bone to pick with this movie.
Just one.
Just one.
A single bone.
A single bone.
Picked.
I hate the love.
Triangle.
No, well, the triangle part's kind of fun, just because I love Zayf.
I like the
Oh.
triangles.
It adds it a little spice. No, I don't.
Learning things about Steve.
I don't get Zoe Deschanel's like turn at the end where she like finally decides like she wants to be with Arthur, because like she's shooting the dude with the truth gun, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, oh, you know, you ran away with a dude who, you know, you thought understood you but doesn't, but you're worried that the guy who actually understands you, like, you blew your shot with. But I was like, Arthur never understood you. Like, you wanted to be like the adventure-y kind of fun, carefree going girl. And when you first met him, he was very reluctant and hesitant
Right.
to want to be the adventure-y, like,
He wouldn't even
fun-loving
go with her
kinda
to
guy.
Miami.
Did you miss the moment before that though? Like when he has that scene where she's taking a shower and he comes in and he's being all like, I don't even remember exactly what he says, but they have like a moment there, and that's like the one like reflection point you get for her being like, maybe he understands me. You
But,
know?
like, it seems
even though
like-
they still don't know each other and
Yeah.
they can't fall
Right.
in love that quick.
Right. And like the fact that he's like head over heels for, and he's like, she's definitely the one. I'm 100% going to marry her. But like, there was no like, I don't know. Maybe I want my love a little more
A
lovey.
little more drawn out. Well,
I want a little more love to my love.
Steve, we only have an hour and 45 minutes of this movie
Well,
to
you could-
do the love plot, to do the hitchhiking, to do the
Okay,
whole
well,
end
The whole
plot,
galaxy.
like all
Yeah.
the galaxy.
Well,
like-
cut out, you know, I don't know, them getting slapped by fly swatters in the desert. Maybe just like 5 minutes, and add her being like, I might love you, Arthur. And he's like, I might love you too, Zillion.
yeah, that's the thing is like there's too many things
Yeah,
happening.
there's a lot of
that
stuff that
it's
happens.
gonna be
Yeah.
rushed, you know.
Well, and it was kind of cool. So, like, I was looking at some of the stuff for this, and just as like a little Steve tidbit,
Oh my word.
they were saying, like, the original Hitchhiker's Guide was like a radio show, that they used to do, and it was like a episodic weekly thing.
6-part radio
And then
show.
Douglas Adams came in and he wrote a book. And they were saying the book wasn't a direct translation to the radio show. It took like bits and pieces and kind of retold the story, but it still kept some of the characters. And then they were saying the movie was made to also do that, not be a perfect representation of the book.
That's how they've done everything.
Yeah, and they just kind of pull a few things to keep the characters genuinely the same and, go on from there. But, like, it's kind of cool to see that because, like, a lot of people always complain, like, oh, the book was better. Read the book. Like, this was purposely made, and so was the book, to not be like a one-to-one. Yeah. Like, it's meant to be like a, oh, well, this is my interpretation of the Hitchhiker's Guide. Oh, well, this was my interpretation, and this was their interpretation.
And that's something that's pretty popular with, like, movie people, is they're like, oh, they made it the same, but they forgot this, and this.
Right.
And then they're like, oh, I don't like it because it wasn't the same. Well, you're right, like, it wasn't supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So it's its own different thing, just using the same kind of key ingredients.
Right.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing more of that. Like, you really only get that stuff in horror films with, like, the different people that make them.
Right.
Like, the John Carpenter's Halloween was much different than Rob Zombie's.
Oh,
but
my God, yeah.
You know what I mean? But, like, they're both Halloween.
Yeah, both.
And some people like
Still
one
Michael
more than the
Myers.
other. Yeah.
Yeah, it's better to lean into the not being exactly like the book.
Right. It's like all those Harry Potter nerds being like, well, the book was better. It's like, fuck you. I can watch them cast spells instead of reading about it.
Or be like me and refuse anything Harry Potter.
That's also fair.
Never done the books, never done the movies.
Dude, you're not missing out on much.
No, I'm not.
I'm going to get
All right.
crucified for that.
Yeah.
But you're not missing out on much.
We're not talking about Harry Potter. But yeah, the whole thing with it being more, different from the book is also good because you have so much more time with a book.
Right.
A book doesn't take somebody an hour and 45 minutes to read. There's like so much more detail in the storytelling that like you're never going to get everything.
Right.
So it's like
no, and it's just the only comparison.
Yeah.
People always do it. It's like, well, it can't be because this would be a 50-hour movie.
Yeah.
So, like, if people are like, oh, the book was better. Oh, really? What you made up in your imagination to fill in the blank space was better than what someone else did in their head?
It's
oh,
like,
crazy.
You got to see a depressed robot walk around screen. Like, that's awesome. I didn't have to use my imagination at all.
Yeah.
The sighing door.
Yeah.
It's like, the ship was meant to have a human personality. I think it's dreadful.
I think it's dreadful.
Yeah, can we talk about the robot side of
Yes.
things?
Marvin.
Yeah. Well, like, I thought, for some reason, I thought he was going to be, like, smaller. He was actually, like, huge.
Yeah, he's a big guy. Well, his head's ginormous.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he knows everything.
Now, I saw Warwick Davis in the credits. Did he play Marvin? Was he
I don't know.
in the suit?
I don't know.
Because he was in Star Wars.
Oh, they were allowed to work other jobs?
Well, no, I was just relating it to Star Wars.
I bet some of the sound people were the same as Star Wars too.
Probably. No, but I love
the
the
script
design
on paper.
Like, I love the idea of like a robot that was given a human personality and is just utterly depressed. Like, there's just something about an emotional robot because they're always like, beep boop, I'm a robot.
Yeah, or the other way, and they're like, what can I get for you?
Yeah,
you know, like
the C-3PO,
super happy. It's the anti C-3PO.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
C-3PO is funny because he gets like worried about things.
Yeah.
But it's more in like a because he wants to make sure his job is done right.
Right.
Marvin's just trying to kill himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you all just left me here.
I love how he points out that his personality programming was a prototype.
Yeah.
He's like, "This was the first one. It didn't go well. Everything sucks."
Oh my God.
He has like too much emotion.
Yeah. No, he's
Oh,
like, like,
the smartest robot that knows everything. Get the hitchhikers to the brig.
I just like after they jump through like those portals, like, there's a 0.5 chance that they're all dead.
They're all dead.
And it's just like, thank you.
So yeah, part of the one thing that made it feel like kind of like a smaller world to me was that we didn't see a whole lot of instances of other robots being used.
Right.
Like we didn't. It's kind of like the whole droid thing, you know. Like there's droids everywhere in Star Wars, and when you have one that's like a main character, it stands out because it has like a personality. But he kind of just stands out because there's no other like robots in the whole like movie, really.
Nah, there's more tech.
Yeah, there's like
Yeah.
the AI like voice and everything
Oh
that
my
controls
God.
the ship.
The ship's computer is my favorite.
Yeah.
He's like, navigate us here. Oh, I sure would love to. Unfortunately, my navigation is down.
Yeah, I do like the contrast between those
A
two.
really
Right.
happy ship, really depressed
Yeah.
robot.
It's like, it is my absolute pleasure to inform you that 2 nuclear missiles are coming right at us. If you don't mind, I'd like to start evasive maneuver.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing. I love the differences between your two kind of artificial characters.
Yeah. Yeah, like it creates a good balance, you know.
Yeah, like one's trying to die and the other one's just happy to tell you
happy
anything.
all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, that's nice. But yeah, I don't know. It's that, and also like you don't really see any other humans besides like
Yeah, it's like our
4
main
people.
cast and then like that lady that's like dancing around
Yeah.
with the weird guys.
Okay, that's a lie. At the end, when they're building the planets, there are workers who are like human, you know, as
Yeah.
well.
Human-ish. We
Yeah.
would
Human-esque.
assume.
They're like
They're like clones. I think they
Yeah.
they all like look the same. I
it's all
think.
Ted.
Yeah.
What's up, Ted? You just hear a whole planet worth of yo.
Where do we go next from this? Because the plot is kind of
Yeah, I
ridiculous.
mean it's kind of
The plot is ridiculous.
it's like them on this mission to find the ultimate question or like the answer to the ultimate question.
but
Now-
there was people that tried it before,
yes,
and
because our
they built a computer.
yeah, like our president Zaphod Beeblebrox is obsessed with this video clip that shows these sentient beings making a computer, and the computer is tasked with the
Answering
job.
the ultimate question.
Answer why we are here, what is life, what is the meaning to any of this. Answer that for us.
But the thing is, they never ask the robot that question. They ask it, give me the answer to the ultimate question, but they never define the question.
And then like even the robot's like, well, what do you mean? And they're like, well, the question to life, to any of this, to all of this. And like the robot's like, oh, whatever. All right, I'll give you.
Come back in 1 million years.
yeah.
Yeah, and then when they come back, the robot's only answer is 42.
42.
And everybody's all pissed off. And they're like, well, what the hell does 42 mean? And she's like, no, I put a lot of thought into it. It's 42, guys.
42.
But then she basically says, okay, well, if you want to know the meaning to life or like the question why we're here, all that, he's like, I'll create a new computer for you.
Right.
And you guys will run this experiment over like thousands and thousands of millennia, whatever.
They always
And-
say like 7 million years. or
yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And that's basically our backstory to why they're trying to get to this planet Margarita.
Magrathea.
Oh, yeah, I can't believe I forgot. I said it like 1,000 times.
We're going to Magrathea.
It's Margarita.
Magrathea.
You know, I like Sam Rockwell, the guy who plays Zaphod,
Yeah.
but like sometimes he's too much. Like he's got like that goofy personality, but like sometimes it's too much. Like he acts like that in the freaking Poltergeist remake that he's in.
Well, you can't really knock him because he had part of his personality cut out and put into his second head. All right, Steve.
He
So
has
he's
only half a personality.
So he doesn't have any of the balancing.
His brain was run by a lemon there for a while.
Well, that's how they get him the good juice. That was pretty funny. It's like, oh, well, it works, but it's dumb.
It's like
Why
it gives
it
him
works?
just enough.
Just enough.
But yeah, so they they're doing all these like hijinks. I'm pretty sure Zooey Deschanel gets kidnapped at some point.
Oh,
You're
there's
pretty
a-
sure?
pretty
Pretty sure.
She gets
There's
lost
a
in
rescue
the-
scene,
Yeah.
a DMV line scene.
That's oh my
Yeah.
god, that's my favorite. It's like we're trying to release this prisoner, but this isn't a presidential release form. It's like, but the president's right here. Yeah, this one's not blue.
This one's blue. So they go get it and get her out. And
Yeah. I mean, the comedy is like, you know, the best part of the movie, pretty much.
Right.
Like,
And
Well,
they,
it's
they
like
never,
I like that style.
yeah.
Like that.
and they never can get to where they need to go without something happening.
Yeah, something's got to happen.
Like either they're the bureaucratic people are chasing them again and they've caught up, and then they jump to hyperspeed. But instead of just jumping to hyper, they're like, do they fill out a hyperspeed request form? It's like, okay, I wouldn't have thought about that. We know they're bureaucratic people, but then they're like, oh, we should be over here with the film, but we're gonna stay here for a bit
Right.
just to be dumb, and then you jump forward with them. I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's got like that like Guy Ritchie kind of humor that like I gravitate towards because it's stupid and
It's
my
kind of dumb.
my slow brain can handle it.
Yeah, again, it's like it's not really what makes me laugh the most, but
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate the thought behind the jokes. And
Like I'll still stand behind that whale scene. Is my like it gets me every time because he's like, what am I? Where am I? Who am I? What is this thing behind me? I'll call it a tail.
I'll
And he's
call it a
like-
tail.
It's like,
What am I feeling? Just wind. It's wind.
It's like, oh, that thing is coming at me very, very quick. It's big. It's loud. It needs an ound sound. Ground. Hello, ground. Boom.
And the mushroom cloud, I think, is a whale at terminal velocity.
Oh my god, like it's amazing. And then like, not even to take away from the whale, but a potted plant falls next to him, and the story actually like then goes off on a beat about the potted plant.
Yeah.
And he's like, and the only thing the plant thought was, oh, not again. And the whole and like the mystery of why the plant said that
Right.
is what fueled like exploration for like years or something.
but that's all completely unnecessary.
Oh, yeah,
it
none
does
of it.
Don't
nothing
need
for
it.
the plot.
No.
But it's just there for the giggles.
Yeah.
Like,
Sometimes
know.
sometimes I need the giggles.
Sometimes
I
just
need
the
a little
giggles.
giggles.
so I will say that there is this part to the plot that actually gives a little bit of something where it's the whole what is the meaning of life thing,
Right.
and you have those moments with what's his name, Tao guy,
I think it's Ford.
I'm Michael. Jeez.
I've
But
only been
who's
doing this
this?
for 40
Tao
freaking
guy.
episodes.
I've known you for a long time.
when he is like going through the world building factory.
Yes, yeah.
And like he has this moment where he's seeing all these elements from
Yeah.
Earth and he's feeling very like, wow, this is like the beautiful Earth that I grew up on, and it's like it kind of hits you with a little bit of like, oh wow, this movie has like a slightly deeper meaning.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a good bit of depth to it for sure.
And then it goes into the whole like, love story side of it too.
Yeah,
and,
because
the
like his
character
whole
development.
monologue at the end there when the mice are like, that sounds so weird without setting that up, where the mice are interrogating him.
the what was it, like the prince and princess of
Yeah.
the land that made the computer turned
Mhm.
into mice to hide on Earth to
Yeah, to
eventually
like study people.
find someone that'll ask the
Yeah, but like
Ultimate
his
question.
monologue of like, it's like, my only question is like, is she the one? And I can say without a doubt, like, yes. And like he goes on and on and on. And so like,
barf.
it's like, yeah, why don't you go tell your feelings to somebody who cares? No, but like it is like a nice heartfelt moment, and like the mice are just like, that's stupid. Cut him open anyway.
Right?
Yeah.
We need
Yeah.
his brain.
Like I enjoyed those moments where, it did feel like there's a little
Yeah, there's
something.
a little
more.
There's some heart
substance.
to the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, I think this one's just a fun space movie.
Fun, stupid,
Yeah.
fun, stupid movie.
Yeah. I mean, there could have been a little bit more space things, but
Yeah,
I mean,
they could have did more here or there. Maybe
Yeah,
made it
I-
like a full 2 hours.
I was
just
gonna
to-
say they could have made the runtime just a little longer. I think
Well,
they
like,
could have done
you
more.
were saying the ending did kind of
Mm.
feel like it just came and went.
Yeah,
and like they
it
were
wrapped up
done in
real
yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help but agree. Like it did kind of like wrap up real quick with a nice little like bow on it. Everything turned out fine, and
Mm-hmm.
all the stories are good.
Yeah, like they got together, the little love story, and
Yeah.
then like the president and this other girl. Which they didn't do much with that. The
No.
other lady who was like definitely trying to.
They just
president,
showed
like-
them together at the end.
Yeah,
That
like she
about
was
it.
real horny for him.
Oh yeah.
And they
He's
could
got
have
two
had.
heads.
Yeah, they could have had like a little bit more like back and forth with them.
Right.
Just a little bit, just to set up that like, they, you know, fly off together or whatever.
I think one of the key things for what you're saying is a lot of these dumb movies leave 8 or 9 things open-ended.
Right.
And you're always like, oh, like that's a stupid movie, but I would have liked to have seen how that ended up.
Yeah.
So for this one to tie everything up, and not everything, but they left some holes, but to tie the main things up neatly like that, I think we were kind of like, oh, they don't. We got an explanation for all the 4 main things. That's crazy. That normally
when
stupid
I like
movies
it wasn't
leave that
like
out.
a freaking sequel setup or anything like that. It was just kind of like a bye. And I was like, cool.
This
I'm
was a
satisfied.
fun project.
Yeah.
This is a silly story and a good script.
Yeah,
and
they're like, we came to make a goofy space movie. We made a goofy space movie, and that's all you get.
Yep.
Yeah, they don't really elaborate much on anything else or like showing like what did they do then? Like Zooey Deschanel and what's his face, like they don't own a spaceship. They don't have, I mean, like they built Earth again, I guess, but it's like, are they is that where they are now? Like,
well, they were going on adventures.
Yeah,
they're going on adventures.
They
with
were
what
going to the
spaceship?
restaurant
Like,
at the end of the universe.
Yeah. And that's the next book in the whatever restaurant at the end of the galaxy or whatever it's called.
But it was the president's spaceship, and they just took it.
Well, they were with the president.
He was still with them, wasn't
he?
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
but that's weird. She's hanging out with her ex now. Like, see, there's too much. Oh, there's a cat on the table now.
Speaking of aliens, excuse you.
We had another friend hitchhiking with us and didn't change back.
Wait, the improbability drive just turned our camera guy into a cat.
Yep. Show the world your butthole, kitty. There it is.
Oh,
all right.
yeah.
Now, all right, get down, little girl. Get down.
The improbability drive.
Now we're going to have to do a featuring kitty. Great.
No, I refuse. We'll do a cage fight between me and the cat.
But yeah, no, I mean, I remember liking this in theaters. I still enjoy this one now.
Oh, I
held up for me.
I watched it when it came out. I've watched it maybe 1 or 2 times since then, and then again before this. It was funny how much I remembered, but it was funny how many details in what I remembered were missing. It was like, you remember kind of what the movie's about, but there's so many little things in the film that you can't, like when they turned into different stuff.
Yeah,
I forgot about that. So it went wonk, wonk, wonk the first time, and I was like, oh, I forgot. I was like, they're gonna turn into something stupid every time they hit that button in the spaceship.
Yeah, I do think it's one of those that it's probably more enjoyable when you go back in and watch it again, fully knowing that there's not a lot of plot, there's not a lot of, you know, those sort of things, and it's just goofy.
I feel like we say that more and more. Oh, if I knew what the movie was supposed to be, I would have watched it with a different frame of mind.
Right.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that was my first time watching it, so for me, I got that. I know for you guys, you've seen it before, so it's a little different for you.
Yeah.
Like I knew what I was getting into.
Yeah. But if you haven't seen this movie, it's like, I don't know, like, oh, we want to know what mindset to be in. I don't even know how to explain this to someone without ruining anything, to put them in the right frame of mind to watch this type of film.
You just got to be a little silly, you know?
It's like, it's a silly space movie.
I'm like,
silly.
I hate like shut your brain off and just go with it. But just go with it. It's just a fun little ride. There's no stakes to it. There's nothing like, there's no world-ending. There is world-ending.
Also, they answered the ultimate question.
But it's not like watching like Interstellar or fucking Arrival, where it's like
you have to learn a new
sci-fi.
language.
Yeah. This is fun. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't matter. Just join this ragtag bunch of people and go across the galaxy.
The stakes were the highest because the Earth got blown up.
Right.
And the whole time we were like, hey, they blew up the Earth.
Yeah.
The highest stakes of them all, and it didn't feel heavy.
Right. Yeah. And like when you got a narrator being like, space, according to the Hitchhiker's Guide, is big. Very, very big.
I like how they describe the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is the name of the film, which is also a book in the world, which is actually a book in the actual world.
But it's not a book, it's like an an intelligence catalog.
Yeah.
It's like
But-
a screen.
But this one is popular because it was sold just a little bit cheaper. Like stupid
yeah,
stuff
I
like
love-
that. It's like
oh.
I forget exactly how it goes.
It's like the third bestseller
The
in the
third.
galaxy, shortly below How to Train a Wazak. or
right? It's
something.
like dumb.
Like, it's just a fun ride, and if you don't take it too serious, you're not expecting like glitz and glam. Like it's a solid,
But as far as like the sets and the landscapes and the technology used to make it, like it's decent. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing.
Yeah, you can tell it wasn't like a big budget film.
yeah, you can tell there's a lot of people in suits.
Yeah, which
like,
is
not
which is
too
better.
much CGI, like
Yeah.
outside of like the space stuff.
there was a lot of like backgrounds.
Yeah,
But it wasn't the whole.
yeah.
I hate like
Like you can tell they didn't shoot
like,
it
really,
on a green
you can't
screen
even,
set.
You can't even
Yeah.
put sand down and then just have a background.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm not the biggest fan of everything
Mhm.
being CGI.
Mm.
It's like I can tell your foot's not touching that planet. It's
Yeah.
like, so for this stuff, you could definitely see that they made a lot of props. They had some bigger stages to
Did some practical.
yeah, did some practical stuff. But what's the fellow with the crab legs, the robot legs?
Oh, Hamakavula.
Yeah, what's the guy that plays him?
Oh, that's John Malkovich.
Yeah, he was in this movie.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Which
There's
is
a lot
just-
of people in this
which
movie.
is just random,
Yeah.
and he plays an integral role in
Yeah.
the plot, and you're just so stupid. Why does he have
Why is
no
he a
body
crab?
and he's
Yeah.
crab legs?
And he runs the church.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, it's
for the
just like a
giant
little
Kleenex.
culty.
yeah. And they're like, we want to be blown away by the Kleenex of
Right.
truth. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. I mean, it's like that whole, like, just religion pun. It's
Yeah.
like everybody on every planet is going to
Has
have
one of
some
these.
religion.
Yeah.
It's just not the one that any of us have on Earth.
Giant floating spaghetti
We
monsters.
want to be covered by your holiness.
It's like, sneeze us away as we are the dust in your nostril.
Yes, very funny, very funny.
And you could tell it was one of those like mega churches where he's like
Yeah.
making money and doesn't care about it at all. He's like,
The
I'm in it for the
sneezer
money.
wants you to put $1 in the basket.
right?
That
Ugh.
that is like one of the elements that actually like, gives you a little sense of other parts of the galaxy. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna put the stamp that says I recommend this one because it's a fun movie.
I'm gonna put
More
the stamp
people
that says,
should watch it.
Stay calm or whatever it is.
Stay calm.
Don't
42.
panic. That's what it is.
Don't panic.
Yeah, I mean,
So did we answer the ultimate question?
I was going to say like I don't know if they really explicitly said what the answer
Yeah,
Apparently,
no.
the answer to the ultimate question is blow the world up. Find a way to get a new world.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty neat.
Well, you got to build a bypass, dude.
Well, and
It's all about bypasses.
we were wondering for a certain other film we
Mhm.
did an episode on how the
Mhm.
moon was a megastructure. Well,
Moonfall?
turns out it's a replacement moon because this is actually Earth 2.0
Mm.
that was kept in storage.
So they
so-
made another moon too.
So we're gonna have to go back and redo Moonfall. No.
You know what?
Moonfall 2.
They didn't
retake.
explain the moon. Did they blow up the moon? Was the moon just like
I feel like that explosion.
would have taken the moon? But the explosion was so.
Maybe
it
they
was
just
so
took the moon
precise.
with them.
Well,
Yeah.
without Earth, the moon would just simply
Float
drift
away.
away.
I mean, it's being held in by Earth's gravity.
It would just float away. That's the fourth book where they go.
The moon.
We have
Bye-bye,
to
moon."
find the moon. We had important things on the moon. We forgot about it.
There
yeah.
were nanobots in a war that's been raging for millions of years.
Have you heard of the dark side of the moon?
Yeah, Pink Floyd wrote an album about it.
Oh, really? What an education I've received today.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome to every education in the book.
All the educations in the book.
Oh my god.
Well, that was quite the journey
That
through
was
the
quite
galaxy.
fun. So,
who knew every film in the book contained some films about books?
Mhm.
It's like our name is a pun.
Wow, almost exactly like our name.
Oh,
is a
dude, we
pun.
missed the perfect opportunity to just be a movie based on books podcast.
All right, well,
We should-
now time for us to shut everything down.
All right.
Delete it all.
Restart.
We're gonna do everything
blow
over
up the
again.
We'll be
podcast.
EFB point 2.
Next time on EFB Point 2.
check out our secondary channel.
Our second channel.
Everybody has a second channel. We got to make it a second channel
Yeah.
where it's just pictures of our butts.
Every book in the movie.
Yeah, every movie in the book.
Every book in the film.
We'll
We'll workshop it.
Yeah, we'll come back to you guys next week.
Thanks for watching
Yeah.
and listening.
I guess we should send them off with a so long. And thanks for all the fish.
That's true. That's true. So long. Thanks for all the fish.